This is San Diego News Daily.
Hello and welcome to San Diego News Daily. I'm Dana Williams. To start, we have new developments in the case of a man accused of groping several women in neighborhoods across San Diego. Eric Altamirano was arrested in July after incidents in North Park, University Heights, and Pacific Beach. It came after images of Altamirano were shared online. He was charged with felony assault, but then he was released and referred to the city's attorney's office for lesser charges. Now, 3 months later, he's been charged with 4 counts of misdemeanor sexual battery. A similar attack was reported earlier this week in Pacific Beach, but police say they can't confirm if Altamirano is the suspect. One of his accusers shared this message with us.
Recent news really does definitely shocks me, but I just want to let that girl know that we're here for her.
Of course, we distorted that voice to protect her. Altamirano is due in court in a few weeks. When asked about the time it took to charge, the city attorney's office said in a statement, each case is unique and they make filing decisions based on if there's sufficient evidence that's also admissible. A Navy police officer pleaded not guilty to a murder charge in the death of La Mesa police officer Lauren Craven. In court, prosecutors say 38-year-old Antonio Alcantar had been drinking at a bar before he hit Craven. Craven was responding to a car accident involving several people, including 19-year-old Devontae Morris. He also died that night. District Attorney Spencer Sharp says several videos show Craven flipping on her lights and drivers clearing out of the way, but Alcantar did not.
He doesn't brake, he doesn't stop, he doesn't change lanes, he doesn't turn on his blinker. He makes no attempts at all to avoid the emergency scene and those emergency lights and the collision scene. That is as required by law.
We ask you to reserve judgment and understand that there's a very human element of it. People, generally speaking, don't go out, drink a lot, and say, wouldn't it be fun if something bad happened today?
Green, the defense attorney who you just heard, says he takes full responsibility for his intoxication, but emphasized Alcantar's decorated 11-year Navy career and clean record. Detectives are still investigating whether he had hit Morris as well. This week, San Diego County leaders will be meeting to discuss a new proposal which aims to cap or even eliminate fees that tenants in San Diego pay on top of their monthly rent. The proposed ordinance is a partnership between the city and the county. If passed, it would cap rental fees at no more than 5% of rent and ban fees for basic services like pest control or trash collection. It would also require disclosure of all rental costs and listings and lease agreements and protect applicants from excessive screening and processing fees. And for anyone with pets, you'd no longer have to pay your monthly pet fees.
For families living paycheck to paycheck, an unexpected fee can be the difference between housing stability and homelessness. This ordinance provides clarity, enforceability, and accountability that renters deserve.
The proposal will be introduced at the county supervisors meeting this coming Tuesday. As Californians prepare to vote on Proposition 50 today, more voting centers will open across San Diego County ahead of the November 4th special election. They're open from 8 in the morning to 5 at night every day through Tuesday, but just a heads up, there are fewer vote centers for this special election, and because of that, officials warn there could be longer lines for in-person voting come Election Day. You can visit sdvote.com to find a location nearest you. So maybe you've dropped off your ballot and wonder what happens next. A new center at UC San Diego is on a mission to increase trust in elections by figuring out what Americans want to know and how to get them that information. NBC7's Joey Savchuk has a look.
I just learned a fascinating phrase. It's called pre-bunking. So instead of debunking claims of fraud after an election, a center here at UCSD is working to be more proactive, to show people what the process of holding an election actually looks like so they have a little bit more faith in the outcome. Just days before California's special election, the work at the Center for Transparent and Trusted Elections is as urgent as ever.
This is the challenge to American democracy right now.
Fledgling trust in the democratic process is hard to fix post-election. A Pew Research poll from last year found 3 in 10 Americans were less than confident that their votes would be counted accurately, which is why political science professors Thad Kauser and Lauren Craven want to get ahead of distrust and misinformation.
It's not too late for this. So we actually saw after the 2024 presidential election an increase in confidence among those who'd been previously skeptical. So we actually think there's an opening here where more Americans might be open to hearing about the positive aspects of democracy.
These academics, funded by a $2.5 million grant from the Election Trust Initiative, are becoming democracy detectives, trying to crack the case of what methods are most effective in getting Americans to trust the process of holding an election by learning about what's in place to prevent fraud.
Voters really didn't know all of those safeguards. I didn't know many of these things before I got into this research.
Nobody yet has a magic elixir to eradicate mistrust, but election officials all over the country are putting ideas to the test. And now UCSD is on the vanguard of finding out what's working, whether that's pulling back the curtain with a social media campaign in LA, live stream recordings of ballot tabulations in Arizona, or interviews with local news here in San Diego.
We are extremely invested in understanding what causes trust in elections.
Studying what causes trust rather than scrambling to combat suspicion. Joey Safchik, NBC 7.
Our NBC 7 meteorologist Brooke Martell will have a look at your weather right after this.
You count on deeper investigations.
Why didn't you just let her go?
I'm trying to keep our family together.
You count on getting a response. You count on a committed team looking out for you.
A lot of our small business vendors tell me that you owe them quite a bit of money.
In 2 languages.
¿Por qué piensa que ellos no hacen más?
You count on results.
And they said, you have your money back.
And getting answers.
Do you still feel let down? It's a slap in the face.
This is NBC 7 and Telemundo 20 investigates and responds. Only on NBC 7 and Telemundo 20.
Taking a look at your local weather headlines on this Saturday, this first day of November. We do have some coastal clouds, a little bit of mist, some drizzle possibility, but for this weekend, slightly warmer compared to Friday's conditions. And don't forget tonight to turn back the clocks. Daylight saving time comes to an end officially at 2 a.m. Sunday. And if we take a look at what we can expect for next week, cooling down just a little bit, but taking you back out to the coastline. Temperatures here will be really nice by this afternoon. We're still closer to the low 60s throughout the morning hours. High grip current risk. Please be careful if you plan on getting in the water. Wave heights up to about 3 to 5 feet for today as well. We have upper 60s to about the low 70s along the coastline, upper 70s to the upper 80s for your inland valleys. So yes, still trending warmer on this first day of November. We have 70s and 80s over the mountains. We'll have some weak offshore flow. So we're talking about some easterly winds that will keep us dry and on the warmer side, especially for those valleys. And then we have those low 90s over our desert region. So I just mentioned daylight saving time coming to an end officially at 2 a.m. Sunday. So we're turning back the clocks by 1 hour. Sunday morning, here's a look at that new sunrise time. We're talking at 6:07 in the morning. And this next one hurts a little bit for some people. 4:56 p.m. Yeah, sub 5 p.m. is where we're at beginning tomorrow. So enjoy tonight's sunset, 5:57, before you could see things look different for this upcoming week and the rest of the month. Thanksgiving Day, 4:43 p.m. and then we're looking at 4:47 p.m. So we start to go up from there. That's on winter solstice in December. So I mentioned some changes on the way here. We have this high pressure, weak offshore flow influencing our conditions locally today and tomorrow. And then we have this low over the Pacific Northwest. We can actually see that this is bringing an active weather pattern to that portion of the country as well as for Northern California. For us here, as this trough continues to dig south, it's not going to change much, but it actually does cool us down just a little bit. You can actually see that we're right around those low to mid 70s for the extended period for the coastline. So again, not much is changing, but for the inland valley communities, it means that we get out of the 80s and we get back into the 70s, even if it's some upper 70s for certain areas. For the mountain communities, you'll feel it more here because we're out of those upper 70s. We're back to the upper 60s by Wednesday, Thursday. Desert region also taking a break from the 90s and going back to the 80s. We could see those temperatures as early as Tuesday, Dana.
Brooke, thanks so much. Beautiful weather out there. And this morning, San Diegans are coming together to celebrate the Day of the Dead. The 2-day celebration begins today, and there are a number of events taking place all around San Diego. In Old Town, organizers are inviting San Diegans to take part in their Day of the Dead celebration this weekend. The festival celebrates the history, culture, and of course, the heritage of the San Diego region. The event is free and it begins at 11 in the morning, both today and tomorrow. Through art and music, organizers say Dia de los Muertos honors and remembers the lives of those who have really made a difference.
We're going to have a huge celebration that features around honoring loved ones who have passed away. We have a community ofrenda or altar that's going to be in the center of our plaza, and you'll have the opportunity to bring a photo of a loved one and place it onto that altar. We have a butterfly grove that if you didn't bring a photo, you can write the name of a loved one and then contribute it to our community collection. And that will then be recycled.
And you know, while that's a positive celebration, it's really never easy to talk about death. But to help with some of those important conversations, we've put together a 30-minute special. You can watch Adios streaming today at 1 p.m. on our streaming channel, and you can find it on our website, NBC7.com. You can scan that QR code or search Adios itself. And there's more coverage you can count on at NBC7.com, and you can always find us on your Roku or your Samsung Smart TV app. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Dana Williams.